On here and give you guys a little update before everybody heads out this Saturday morning. Hope everybody's doing well. We got a couple things going on, and I just want to give everybody a quick little rundown of space weather. That way people that are in here just to get some of the data and stuff can get that. The past couple videos I've made or live streams have been over an hour, so I want to give them something here to go with, plus give everybody here an update, because yeah, there is a few things going on here. So first thing we'll talk about, guys, is the solar wind. It did arrive. It still got us here, okay? At any time, we could pop up into storm level, okay? This was expected, just so everybody knows. It was not something that we didn't expect to see. We knew it was coming. It was from coronal holes. It seemed to have arrived maybe just a little late, but it's pretty fast wind. I will give it that. I don't want to say it's, extremely fast or anything. 530, I seen it up close to 600 a little while ago. The X-ray flux here, guys, that's where we look for flares. It's pretty much on the bottom too. There was a little bit of action here. I did talk about that before, but this is gonna need some more talked about stuff right here, guys. This missing data is getting ridiculous. I have no doubt in my mind right now that they're trying to not let us see some stuff. 100%, in my opinion. Too many tools are missing data. Too many tools that have nothing to do with one another are missing the same time frame of data. Dutch was talking yesterday about how they, there was some earthquakes and stuff. I think it was Dutch that wasn't getting reported. All that kind of stuff. So yeah. Hey Hilly, how you doing, bud? Good to see you in here, man. So yeah, guys, we're gonna just kind of burn through this a little bit because I want you guys to see, why the data is important, because that's what we got. That's all we got. So when we're missing it, it really does call into question why. If it didn't matter, I wouldn't be talking about it. This matters. Now, this right here is normal, what we're missing here. Okay, that's every day that happens. But back when this one filament busted off, right when it first did, the first 8 hours of that on LASCO C2 is missing. We don't have that data. You have to ask yourself, when that stuff is happening, why? Especially when we haven't been getting events like that. Then all of a sudden we get an event and now we're missing data? Whatever. I mean, there's no way that that's not some sort of fudgery going on there. Yeah, Hilly, can you hold it down there in the chat for me, please? I'm going to put this down so I can let everybody else see the data. Appreciate your help, man. I really do. Appreciate you all the way around. You guys need to go check out Hilly's channel. I think he got a Bible study today. 1 p.m. Hilly, I think is what it is, if I'm correct. Pretty sure. Feel free to drop your link in there too, Hilly. Okay. Let's see here. What did you? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, go ahead and drop your link down in there too, man, if you would. That way that people know where to go. Anyway, this right here, guys, is the Enlil model, and yes, they've been talking about this. This model's been showing this little uptick in speed. We're gonna, we're right here in time right now. Okay, so we're just on the beginnings of that uptick of what it's showing. Now, if we go look at the actual speed, we're above what this is saying. So, it's not exact, but it's close enough for my, from my opinion. But the thing I really want to look at here is the uptick. It's still going to go on up. It's still going to keep rising. And when it starts coming back down, it's taking it days to do so. So why is it like that? Okay, well, the first thing would be coronal holes. Coronal holes close up and open up whenever they want to, pretty much. I showed you guys the other day where the sun facing the disk here on the sun that faces us was completely like no coronal holes at all. And then the next video I did, which is like 4 or 5 hours later, it was full of it. So I mean, opens up, closes up. It does all kinds of stuff like that whenever it wants to. But this is a coronal hole. It's not a really big one, but it is opened up all the way, and stuff is spewing out of it. You know, it's gonna impact us. We connected to it. Earth sits kind of like right to the south of the equator of the sun. So when it rotates that direction, obviously, when we line up with it, we get connected, and those particles will follow that connection line. Interplanetary magnetic field lines. Okay? The charged particles will follow that all the way to Earth. And the more dense they are, they stay closer to the middle. They spiral down that connection. The less dense, they kind of spiral like this, all the way down to its location. Or just keep moving. So, that's how they move, and that's what we see. But when we see a slow increase, a solar wind, and then a slow decrease, usually what you're seeing there is a bigger coronal hole, because it stays in front of us longer. So we get kind of a more consistent, not just quick little blast. Like we've gotten kind of used to that, because during solar minimum, we didn't see a whole lot. And we're still in a minimum right now, but we're in the first year coming out of it. So this stuff is going to keep upticking. You're going to see more and more activity, and it's going to get intense. I'll tell you that much. But what's happening right now is we are getting some really crazy auroras, and I'll take you guys over there and show that to you here in a minute. But you can see here, look what the magnometers did when that solar wind arrived. Okay, this is not storm level yet. It is a KP of 4. A KP of 5 is G level 1. All right, now even this 4, especially if it's a high 4, it can give us some stuff. You know, we can get some issues from that, but most likely nothing really too much. Even with the G1, we won't see much. But here's the Aurora, and what you're going to notice is, I showed it last night, and it went from like almost nothing to really, really big and bright like this. Watch. Watch how fast it gets intense. See that? What happened there, guys, is the solar wind arrived. As soon as that got here, that's what it did. Now I'm going to pause it right about there. And you can see how it's kind of is getting below the border of America and Canada, right? I would guess that in Minnesota, Upper Michigan, Montana maybe, North Dakota, probably even Oregon and Idaho down there, maybe. Okay, now you're probably asking yourself, why don't they get more auroras over here? Well, look, you see how this is a circle shape? Just because of its location, it's still just as far south as the rest of these, but it actually starts twirling back in towards the center, right there. Okay, so we do see more auroras over here than what we do over here. But when they get real intense, you see it all over. You know, we've seen them as far down as southern Colorado. I think we've even seen them into Texas a couple times. But when we get really huge events that none of us have been here for, they will get auroras all the way down to the equator. That's intense stuff there when that happens. So yeah, you got 1, 2, you got what, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 hours now staying at a KP of 4. That's, we haven't seen nothing do this in a while. The stuff that we've been getting, like I said, would pop up here for one bar, which is about 3 hours, and then it would pop back down. It might pop back up again, pop back down. This is consistently staying this high, which is, what we usually see. But with that being said, again, it takes this one little small blast, and it's going to get us up there in the storm level. So yeah, so there you go with that. Now, they have changed some of their predictions here. Okay, they were saying G level 1 here. They were saying G level 1 here too. They've now taken that off. Now they moved it back to the 26th. So who knows? Again, those are just predictions. They do give you percentages, but they're not very. That stuff's not very reliable, and that's why I don't show it to you guys very often. Because more times than not, in my opinion, they're wrong on these predictions. It's just too far out. So many things can change. If the timing's off, it'll come earlier or it'll come later. If they thought it was going to be more intense and it ends up not being, you know, all that stuff affects everything. So yeah, let me go ahead and pull this out real quick. Let's just do the we'll do the Schumann real quick just to see. Now this all looks pretty normal, guys. There ain't nothing really much there to talk about. You know, we got, you know, we had a spike here. We've already spoke about that. These other ones here too, they are, you know, they are pretty substantial, but they're short-lived. With that being said, that gives us, you know, you can still get ringing in your ears and all that kind of stuff. But it went back down to pretty much ambient conditions is what I would call it. I don't want to call anything normal because everything's normal when you're talking about the Schumann. It's just frequency, okay? When it gets away from the 7.83 Hz level here, that's when it starts messing with us. You guys want to know why? It's because our brains, that is the Hz level of our brain. Most people don't know that. And that's why when it gets away from 7.83, the mental stability of our societies start breaking down. People start going nuts. Crime rate goes up. Unfortunately, suicide goes up. All that stuff. And they've done so many studies, you know. Mental hospitals fill up. And I've said this before. My grandma used to call it, hey, the crazies are out. There's a full moon. I mean, she would say stuff like that. But most likely, this is what was causing it. When this thing would be spiking. They just didn't know that. This kind of information was not mainstream back then. It was there, but it wasn't in the forefront like we got access to it now. Obviously with the internet and computers and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, there are good things to the computer and internet stuff, guys. But also we all know that it is negative, very negative in a lot of areas. So with that being said, let's go to, where was I going? Oh, this is where I was going to go next with it. Now this is a Magnetosphere model, and this is going to show you exactly what's going on as far as speed and density and pressure. Now don't freak out when you see this. Okay, I say that every time, especially when it's looking like that. We'll start here at the top with the velocity. That's speed, and you're going to see it. You know, the reds means, you know, higher speed. I do believe, like when it gets down to 0, I think the way that this is actually mapped out, if it gets into like these greens, that's fast too, but it's going the other direction. I think that's what that means. So, you know, if I'm reading this right, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. But that's what you're seeing there. You're seeing some wind move that way, and it's telling you how fast. But that's exactly what we would expect to see with solar wind arriving, guys. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Now the density is another story. Okay? First off, there's nothing symmetrical about any of this. And to be honest with you, that's what bothers me the most about it. And I'm going to pause it because you're going to see some crazy looking stuff going on here. Now, when I'm moving this slide to the right, remember, when I'm moving forward in time, things should be moving from left to right here. Okay, for the most part. We do get kind of a rebound effect back here sometimes, but sometimes it's just too much. So when I'm going forward in time, things should be moving from here, from left to right. Now watch what this stuff does. You see this up here? Watch up here. Okay, so I'm going to go forward in time. Why is it moving towards the front? I mean, it goes all the way to the front, out in front of the Earth. It's not like it went to our magnetic field and we bounced it off. This is inside our magnetopause. Okay? You know, yes, we do see that from time to time, but we're seeing it pretty often. And look at this. Here and here. Now, that is not saying that that's open. Again, all this is doing is showing you density. It's not telling you speed or anything else here. It's just telling you how dense the particles are right there. That's it. Okay? So when we see these kind of crazy things, and it looks like it's open for everybody to get in there, right? It's not. It just, as a matter of fact, it might even mean the opposite. Because if that's higher dense material or particles, it probably could block stuff a lot better. You see what I'm saying? And you know, don't forget that our bow shock's out here too. It's about right here probably. Okay? And again, why don't we see the bow shock? Because the particles on this side of it are the same density as on this side of it at this point in time. The bow shock is still there. You can see it up here. See? Watch when these waves hit. The waves are hitting our bow shock. See what's happening there? You see how we got this here, but then we go down here and you don't see that, right? Because it's out here. Again, the reason is this is showing density, nothing more. So if we take that on down to the end, again, it's just some bouncing, some little hits and stuff going on here. Now here's the pressure one. I'm going to pause that right there because I want to show you guys that. Okay, so we go from this, right? Look at this. This is, yes, that's a lot of pressure. And it is inside our satellite line, some of it. So, you know, we could be seeing some stuff with that. But, again, this is stuff we expect to see during a solar storm. It's nothing to run to the hills for, okay? But watch what happens. Now, we always talk about the Earth being a capacitor. Essentially, it's a big magnet, or if you want to think of it in really simplistic terms, like a battery. So when all this energy, these charged particles are coming into the Earth through the poles, we hold that energy until we can't hold it no more, and we have to let it go. That's how it acts like a capacitor. That's what a capacitor does. When it can't hold it, it discharges it no matter what you want to do with it. We've learned how to use them for machines. We can discharge because it'll hold energy. You know, we see them a lot inside transformers. If I had to, you know, point something to what most people would understand what I'm talking about, it's essentially a big battery, okay? But watch what happens here on the backside. So we're getting all this energy, right? And I'm going to go forward. Watch what the Earth does. See that? Right here. See what's going on there? You can even see it back here. So what's happened is, you know, we got so much energy and then we got just enough, we had to let it go. And that's what happened. Typically, it will get shot out the back because going against solar wind is so difficult. Electricity is like water, guys. It will, I know it's a strange statement, but that's true. It'll find the path of least resistance. That's what it does. Okay? So that's where it's going to go. It's going to go to the easiest path. So I just wanted you guys to see that because it does help explain what we talk about when we're saying that the Earth is a capacitor or a magnet. We could go that with it too if we want. There's a whole lot of different things that it acts like overall. But we can clearly see that that's going, you know what I'm saying? Nothing came in the front first there either. So that means that we were holding on to it and then we just let it go. You know, I guess maybe we might have took just a small little hit there. Nothing big. But it might have been just enough that we couldn't hold anymore. And there it goes. Bam. Right on out the back. And it keeps moving. Now, what we really want to pay attention to is, you see all this, right? It's still up against our planet, guys. We're getting squeezed. It's pretty good pressure going on here. It's nothing we can't handle, but it's something we should be paying attention to. Okay? I will show you this one next. Let's go to this geoelectric field model. This is a space weather's effect on our electrical grid system. The percentage of stuff we would be seeing, and you're going to see it light up a little bit, guys. Okay? This is going to follow the speed of the solar wind. Typically, where this is intense, the Auroras will be intense also. So this is just another model that gives us a pretty good idea of what we're looking at. Because we can all relate to electrical grid, right? I mean, if it gets messed up, we don't have power. And we all know how bad that sucks. So, and that's why I talk about it, because eventually, guys, it's not a matter of if. It really is a matter of when. It's going to happen. Unfortunately, the powers that be didn't build our infrastructure good enough to protect against stuff like that, even though they knew about it and could have done it. So, you know, I don't even see people talk much about this, about trying to, you know, push through governments and stuff, get some legislation going on getting our infrastructure as far as our electrical grid protected enough that it could withstand a big CME blast. Why don't they want to do that? Well, I can tell you this. If we do get a big blast like a Carrington event, 90% of us won't be here. That's the estimated value of what would happen if the global electrical grid went down. People would not know how to survive. It wouldn't even take any kind of extreme weather. It would just take our electricity to go away. That's it. That's a massive number, guys. That tells you how weak we've become. How reliant we've become on all this technology. You know, I was just, you know, Hilly's in here, so he knows. I know. People that were, you know, that are not millennials, and I'm not saying anything bad about millennials, it ain't their fault. It's our fault. We let our kids grow up this way. Me included. I regret it every day that I didn't make my kids go do more stuff outside and to learn how to do things like that. And I'm trying to correct that now, and I am. And my kid, you know, luckily, my two boys, they love shooting guns and they love going hunting. I've never been hunting. That's probably why I didn't show them, right? But, you know, with that being said, we all got to, the only way it's going to change is if we all do it. That's just a simple fact. But yeah, that's some pretty good stuff here. Now, you know, it's kind of centering right there right now. And you can see how it's more intense. It's like if you threw a rock in a pond and it ripples out. You can see that. I'm going to show you the Australian model real quick. I don't look for this. It's just going to be bouncing around a little bit probably, but not too much, I wouldn't think. You know, it's going to come in pretty far. You know, if it does start bouncing around real bad, I guess it's possible. But the speed is staying pretty consistently high. You see that? And then the density itself, same thing. Okay, it's staying around 10. And that is elevated, but it's not extreme. Earlier in my previous live stream, we were watching it get to like 35 and 36. A while back, we were watching it and it was getting close to 200. And we were taking some massive hits. It was pretty intense, but that's been a while back. What else here? Yeah. Let's go here first before I show you guys the filament. This is the kind of auroras we're seeing. This is spaceweather.com, guys. Look at that. Ain't that crazy? And that is like, wouldn't it be so cool just to walk outside and look up at the sky and just be in awe of what God's doing there? I mean, it's crazy. It is nuts. Yeah, Art, you know what, man? We were talking about that too. I need to go search that out because it was like, it was going on 2 weeks ago. They were talking about in 2 weeks, CERN was going to do its test and go to a parallel universe. They were going to prove it. Now, so when they say that to you, you got to understand they've already done it. They're trying to say they haven't achieved it yet, but they're going to do this big test this coming week or whatever. Come on now, give me a break. No way. They've done it. Hey, Christine. Is it this week? Oh, this week, yesterday. Okay, 6 days then? Okay. Cool. Thanks, Art. Yeah, they're going to do it. You know, they're, and like I said, my opinion is they've already done it, or they wouldn't be talking about it. You know, they're so confident that they think that they know 100% it's going to work, that kind of thing. And then, you know, you throw in that whole laser conversation we were talking about with those beams and the new laser technology that they have that they can use for cloaking and for surveillance. That blew my mind. They're using laser beams for surveillance. It's crazy. They figured out, they call them, what they call it, laser packets. It's one laser, but they can have it come into one specific spot at 4 different times. Or they can have it go into 4 different spots at the same time. It's nuts, the stuff that they're able to do. And, you know, Florida Maquis did a really good video about the hypersonic missiles that China's been staging over there closer to Taiwan. And, you know, we've been watching these beams, and they've been circling around these military installations. Even NASA facilities. I showed you guys that. But now, you know, those 2 beams I showed you were 440 miles long, both of them. The one that went from Florida up to Tennessee, I think it was, and the other one went from, I think it was, what, Louisiana north? But they were both Louisiana north. Yeah, they were both 440 miles long. Well, guess how far the base that holds the planes for China that are carrying those hypersonic missiles? It's 440 miles away from Taiwan. That blew my mind when he showed that. Yeah. And to put icing on the cake there, those hypersonic missiles, the skins on them are real thin. They try to make them as light as possible, so they don't carry a very big payload, but they move so fast that, you know, they're hard to shoot down. So the thought is they've been practicing on how to shoot these things down. Makes sense. You know? And not to mention that it's all around our national day that we're going to go figure out who our next leader is. I'm not saying that word, because right now you say that word on YouTube, you might as well delete the video. Because it ain't going to go nowhere. But yeah. So if we go down through here, fireballs, 49 of them. That's elevated. But we were in that ornate meteor shower. The tail of the debris cloud from Halley's Comet. I look for this to change. Always does, guys. Remember. We are now here. So, from down, the next closest one that we see, guys, is 0.1 lunar distance. And it's not till December 1st. I would almost bet, like my grandpa used to say, $100 to a jelly donut, that we're going to see asteroids and meteorites being inputted here when they see them. There's going to be more on here. And there are probably going to be some that are really close. It's just been that way, Hey, Knowledge, Rampage, Lori, Marie, Nibby Nuts, hey, what's up? Z-Lot, that's right. Good to see you guys. Is Becca in here too? Hi, Becca. Jennifer B. Anima. So yeah, guys, that's crazy stuff, Here's another capture of the sun. You see how we got these coronal holes opening up. It's kind of crazy. Not the coronal hole part, but stuff is active, guys, okay? And that's why we're seeing this. So, let's show you this filament. That wasn't it. Okay? First thing we got here is a sun diver, first off. Okay? That sun diver was pretty cool, I thought. It's one of the bigger ones that I've seen lately. It was a pretty decent one, and yes, I think the sun ate it. I don't think it made it around for its loop around. It either got burned up by the solar wind, or it actually impacted the sun. Both which is possible. Both of which. especially when you get a bigger one. But it really, hey Sid, but it really matters to what it's actually made out of. That's more important than the actual size of it. So yeah. So we got, this is on the 22nd. Okay. We'll look at it over here on the red view too. I'm gonna put the chat back away. So watch it coming on over here. And they did add some of that data back, so which was good because we got to see the rest of it. But that was the CME there, obviously back on the 27th. It's not coming at us though, okay? Just so everybody knows. Next day. Now I've already talked about this a little bit, so I'm going to pause it right there. You're going to see what looks to be energy coming out around this thing, right? And what it is it's a CME that's blowing off the back side. Now, it looks the same as if it was blowing at us, because this is the occulter, and if it comes straight at Earth, typically most of the energy will be blocked by this occulter from us seeing it. Not blocked from Earth, but from our being able to see it. And we call it kind of like a halo thing, where it will like appear to be a halo over a certain amount of this occulter right out of the edge, right? That's what you're going to see here at the top. It's very faint, but it's there. It's up here. And I know it's kind of hard to see, but then you've seen that at the end. What I'm going to do, I want you guys to see this too, because this is important to know too. You see we got timestamp of 1400. Watch what happens. 1412, 1424, 2324. Okay, so we're missing 9 hours. And the first capture we get's this. And you're like, are you kidding me? Really? So we had a CME right when that thing missed time. You know, make up your own mind what you believe on that. Okay? So, yeah. So we'll go to the next day, and this is where we see the filament releasing. Okay, that's what that was, guys. That was that filament releasing. And we'll go check it out again here in a second. Let's back this up a little bit. That's that filament. And I'm going to take you guys over to ISWA and show it to you. But let me show it to you on stereo A first. Okay, that's not the filament. That was the second one from on the 23rd. It's blowing off the backside. Now, why I'm showing you guys this because I made a comment in my one of my videos, the last one before this one, or 2 videos ago, that I thought we were going to see something here because it gets real bright. See that? Right on the end. Plus, we've seen kind of like that halo-looking thing. So I knew something was going on. I just didn't know what yet. I had to wait on the data. So we go to the 24th, and sure enough, look at that. Not only do we have this huge amount all the way through here, but we got another ejection right here. So stuff is blowing off the sun, guys, okay? And I don't know that we're going to get lucky and get missed. Look at this, okay? I know it's hard to see, but you can see little waves just pounding out. Now, this is stereo A's over here, which puts the Earth right here. Sorry about that, guys. It got weak on me there, didn't it? The lighting. I don't have my computer plugged in, that's why. Hold on. Okay, that's getting better now. Yeah, so you can kind of see that, but you see how it's just going out in all directions. It's like, again, throw a rock in the water, and that's what that would look like. You know, so the question is it going to hit us? Well, I don't have a very good answer for that yet. The CME tracker is not updating for whatever reason. I'm going to go check it again here in just a second, but you can clearly see it's all this far. Look at that. And then we got a second one right here. So there's a couple other tools we can go look at that would help us out here. Let's see if that updated anymore. Nope. We're going to go over here to ISWA first off. Well, you know what? Let's go to SDO. I haven't taken you guys to this site. I mean, I've been showing you guys these captures, just not on this site. Let's go back to the 22nd, and we'll take it all the way to today, 24th. We will put the resolution there. Make that one. Hit submit. Okay. So, you know what? I'm going to change that. So, this is what we got. Now, it's on the 22nd. And you're going to see stuff happening, right? Here's that filament. Now, watch what happens. Wham. See that? Ain't that crazy? It blows my mind. I chuckle. It's not really funny, but it's like, wow, you know? But you're also seeing stuff happen here, too. Down here, up here, over here at this new bright spot that's going on. I mean, that's an official sunspot right there. This one pops up right as this happens, and this was the second ejection I was telling you guys. It happened right here. So I can't sit here and tell you that we're not going to get hit with anything. I don't know yet. And, you know, judging by looking at Stereo A and Lasco C2, I mean, it looks to be coming our general direction. Maybe not head on, but a lot of things can happen there. It can go north or south. We can't really tell that by the views we have, the perspective that we're looking from either satellite. You know, we could kind of see, but it's still, at best, it's a educated guess. You know, it's nothing more than that. There's no way I can, you know, put a definitive on it. So that was that filament. We'll watch it one more time here. And that's about 10 to 15 times the size of Earth tall. So if you stack 15 Earths on top of each other, that's how tall that thing was. And if you remember what I said about this, I said it was either going to erupt or it was going to collapse back down to the surface. Well, it chose to erupt. And you know, let me say this too. If this would have waited one more day and did that, it would have been here. And there'd have been no way we would have missed it. It would have been getting us. It would have hit us. And this is a substantial one, guys. This isn't some chump filament that just kind of trickled off the sun. This thing blew off of there. And so much so that it caused that. It destabilized the whole area of the sun right here. You can see it happen. It turns into almost like a road flare. And I'll leave my arrow right here. Watch the filament explode off, and then look. See that? That filament looked like it was over here, attached over here, right? It wasn't. It was here. That's the base of it. So it's going to go boom, and you're going to see energy come back this way. Watch. And then bam, look at that. So there you go. And then this one here actually had some issues too. It blew a little, a small little CME. But look, we got active over here, active over here. We now have a bright spot down here getting ready to come across the limb. It's already doing stuff. See? So we're going to have to pay attention. And this is going to continue. You know, when we get up closer to solar maximum, this is going to be every day, just so you know that. I say that because most people haven't been in this community long enough to know that. So we got that. Now, what was I going to show you? I forget now. Oh, goodness. Oh, the CME tracker. That's where I was going to go. See? It still hasn't updated. That was the 18th. That was that CME that blew off on the 18th. You tell me why we've had 3 or 4 CMEs and this thing ain't doing its job. And then we got missing data all over the place. Okay? We had it missing on the Schumann. Remember, the Schumann is ground-based. That's the measure of the frequency from the surface of the Earth to the top of the ionosphere. Okay? The stuff that's bouncing around in there. It's not giving you no space readings at all. And then you get stereo A giving missing data. Then you got 2 satellites, close to 40 million miles away from it, acting up at the same time, missing data. Nobody's ever going to convince me that that is not something that is... It's way more than a coincidence. That's what I'll say. Okay, we'll take a look at earthquakes real quick. Well, we had a 5-1 there. That's something else I've been noticing too. We've been getting like a rash of 5s, 4s and 5s. Oops. Now, up here, guys, I seen another 4. It was like a 4-1 that happened at, southeast of Sand Point. This is the one where we had the 7-6 up here the other day. So that area is still active. It actually went quiet for a minute, but then it got active again. Let's go one day, all magnitudes. See? That one just happened. That's one I just showed you guys a minute ago. 5-1 there. 5-0 there. I mean, yeah. Hawaii, that's normal. The places these things are happening are normal places. It's just an uptick, and we are seeing an increase in some stuff. Once we got that 7-6, it did release some pressure. Okay, it doesn't mean that we're not going to get more. It just means that's what happened. Also, there's a lot of evidence now to say the whole plate system has shifted. We'll get Ricky in here to talk about that a little bit more. I don't know enough, to really go in depth about that. But it has something to do with the magma moving, and it's kind of like a floating floor in your kitchen or your house somewhere. It's not like nailed down. It's floating there, and because it has to move a little bit. So that's what's going on with these plates and the magma underneath it. That's just how I like to explain it, but, what else do I need to show you guys? Anybody got any questions? Yep. Happy Sabbath. Correct. You're correct, Tilly. Hey, Michael, what's up? Yeah. Becca. Yeah, exactly. Prep, prepare, and pray. That's all you can do. What's it all mean, Whitney? Well, that's kind of the goal of this channel and the goal of our community to kind of figure out what it all means. I don't think any of us have a complete encompassing answer for that. Hey, be kind. Farkas, you're back in here, bud. Cool. Bruce. Learning truth. Awesome. Margie. Thanks, Becca, for doing that. Man, I got the best mods in the world. I'm telling you. Got the best subscribers in the world, too. I mean, seriously. For sure, man. I'm glad to hear somebody say that. Happy Sabbath. It doesn't get said enough. Just saying. And there's a whole lot of reasons. I'm not going to go into all that, but I am happy to hear that. Pole shift by dumb humans. Good one, Mary. It's good to see you back in here. That's cool. Surgery. Sherry. So yeah, guys, Hey, Bruce, what's up, man? You've been with me for a while, haven't you? What's the square root of pi? I couldn't tell you what 4 plus 7 is. I used that for on purpose. I knew it was 11. It's because that's the sun cycle, 11 years. What's up, Sid? Cool. Hey, you know, we're at, you don't have to give me exact, but we're at in Alaska roundabout, are you? Yeah. Hilly's full of jokes, Becca. Hang around. You'll definitely you'll see. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate that. Hey, Johnny, what's up? Yeah, a lot of the feast days just passed. You know, that's yeah. So, my chat lock up? Just curious. Somebody give me a thumbs up or something if it didn't. Great. Okay, here it goes. Oh, you're right in the center? Okay. 15 miles north of the Arctic. Oh, wow. Cool. Have you noticed anything like completely different? I'm curious. Thanks, AB. I appreciate that. Learning truth. Mikey, what's up? Yep, correct, Marie. Good one, Hilly. You know, something else, guys, that you guys might look into. I know I don't usually talk about this subject because, you know, it's not really what my channel does. And it tends to start arguments and stuff. But you guys know they had to add a 13th Zodiac sign, right? And the only reason why I bring that up is because it does affect space weather. That's how we map things out and where we're at in the universe. Anybody that you guys need to research that on your own or find some channels and stuff that'll tell you what it's about. But yeah, they had to add that 13th one because things were, you know, they knew they were going to have to. I think it's a, you know, we just got in a place in time that it's time to do it, and they did it. So I think it's is it Ocephus? Is that what it is? I think it is. I think it's called Ocephus. You know, listen, everything in the world uses the stars for one thing or another. A lot of what we use it for is just simple direction and you know, knowing where we're at. And obviously, I know there's a lot of other things that can be happening. But yeah. Yeah, that's interesting, Stephen. Yeah, there's a lot of, again, such a big, huge subject. I don't even know why I even brought it up because I know people get kind of stoked on that and they like to talk about it. But, you know, my experience, man, I've seen this subject just tear apart chat rooms. It's crazy. How do you pronounce that, Vanima? Yeah, you're right about that, Hilly. But, you know, I was just kind of speaking to, you know, the direction is what I was speaking to. That's it. Yeah, I just showed those quakes. You know, it was, got some action going on, you know. But, you know, regardless of what your beliefs and stuff are, all that stuff I just talked about, it's interesting just to go research it. And don't stop at one thing, though. You know, so often we do. We'll lose time. We won't, you know, we don't dig deep enough. We never get to the real root answer. I mean, sometimes, guys, you guys got to take it way back, further than what you thought you could possibly go with it. Now, I know a lot of people know this now, especially here in my chat room. But if you look at the original translations and stuff of any kind of biblical scripture, there is no J. The language back there had no J. It didn't have vowels. It was a vowelless language. It was I think they used Yohe Vahe for the creator in Genesis, and that's YHVH. So I mean, that's a word, but they give the consonants notations that they're able to still put those sounds out there just by using those consonants. Yeah, Yohe Vahe for sure. Yeah. And, like I said, guys, if you're going to dig into a big subject like that, and I encourage everybody to do that. Obviously, I'm not going to talk a whole much about that, but I would encourage everybody to go dig into any of that, because there is knowledge there to be found, and there is a lot of answers that can be found across the board. No matter what your belief system is, there's stuff there that you can benefit from. And I think that, it is what it is, yeah? No J or V? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, most people say you got to take it back to the Hebrew. Yeah, serpent bearer, that's right. Licia, is that how you say your name? Sorry. Ophiuchus? Is that how you say it? Ophiuchus, maybe? I'll have to look that up and look at the translation on that. Yeah, for sure. How naive did we have to be for so many years to think that Columbus was the first one over here? You know what I mean? I mean, my gosh. It blows my mind every time I hear that whole Columbus story. I mean, yeah, he made it here, and there's a whole story about that, but come on, guys, let's be real. He didn't discover North America. I mean... So, I mean, again, guys, I think it's a really great subject to dive into. So, yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yep. Winners write history. That's a good way to put it, warrior. Winners write history, And, people that aren't like Hilly knows, that I have a Christian background and all that. I like to think myself as well studied, and I'm well versed in what, the Bible says. But something I've come to notice, and something I've come to learn, I guess I should say, is that the books that we're looking at there are not all of the scriptures. I just don't see who gave somebody the right to rip that stuff out of our Bible. You got to wonder. At some point, I guarantee it was kind of, certain ones kind of pulled it out for whatever reasons they were doing it for. One of the biggest ones that people always go to, and Hilly will back me up on this probably. Enoch, the book of Enoch. You just said it, Ken. That's funny. The book of Giants, Nephilim, all that kind of stuff. Those are big subjects, and those are big things that people they argue so much about, and it almost doesn't need to be argued because it's a fact. There's historic fact that they took books out. It doesn't make the religion any less anything. It just means that was taken out, Why? Makes no sense. There's another one, what is it, Hilly? There's the Gospel of Thomas, I think, is one of them. That really has some interesting stuff in it. There's one called the Book of Adam. There's a lot of stuff, guys. The Bible's not a book. The Bible's a series of books, for people that don't know. And it's not in chronological order either. You have to know what you're looking at and, see all that. So, yeah. Yeah, Knowledge 2020. There's just a lot of research there. And check this out, guys. I'm just going to use this as an example. I don't know exactly what was said or happened, but no sooner we start talking about stuff, look what happens. I'm sure Hilly did the right thing. I'm not saying I don't know. I haven't read it yet, and I trust him. So what I'm saying is that it causes arguments. It really does. Big arguments. So, and I guess maybe we should just drop that here in this chat. I mean, but again, that's why I wanted to just say and give you guys a little bit of idea of why I don't talk about stuff like that because my channel, we talk about space weather, I'll be more than happy to tell everybody my beliefs on a different platform. I just don't want to do that here. So, but yeah. Excuse me. Sorry for bringing it up, guys. I didn't want to cause any kind of problems in there for the mods or for the subscribers. Probably shouldn't even brought that up. So back to the space weather here. Yeah, it is a high trigger factor. And the fact of the matter is, AB, there's so many subjects even outside of what we're talking about here that are too, that have nothing to do with religion, And it just, yeah, I mean, we can't come to the middle on anything. The Republicans and the Democrats can't even decide what kind of, what kind of Coke they want with their Happy Meal. You know what I mean? It's just so crazy. So crazy. And the thing here in my chat, and this is what I say, I encourage, discord. Not discouragement or nothing like that. Discord. Healthy discord. Iron sharpens iron. So, we can have difference of opinion on whatever it is. But as long as it's respectful. You can't personally attack somebody. Can't use vulgarity. That's pretty much where my rules stop, And, so if you're doing that, I don't know what to say. What and when would you think it will happen? That's a big question there, Mary. I mean, I guess I can give you a little quick one here. What I think. What do I think will happen? Well, that would take probably weeks to discuss. But I can give you. I do know. Let me say this: the Earth has a catastrophe cycle. That's a fact. Okay. But listen, we're coming to the, I don't want to say this because it's going to entice fear. I don't want to do it. But catastrophes do happen. And what makes us think that we are so immune to all that? That's just completely pure arrogant, ego. It's arrogant. And at the root of it, it's ignorant because we got to understand that stuff's going to happen. Not a matter of if, matter of when. I say that all the time. And if we can have healthy discord, I encourage it. Because I don't know everything. I never will. And that's what I tell people. I raise my kids with this kind of saying, like, the second you think you know everything about anything or everything, is the second you stop learning. Because if you truly think you know everything about a specific subject, what more could anybody add to you? You see what I'm saying? There's always something to learn somewhere. And, because people have asked me, and the best example I can give you is, for me, would be this. Let me show you. This over here. This is my subscription list. And there's more people I watch. Sometimes my subscription list changes for whatever reason. Every once in a while, guys, keep in mind, YouTube actually gets on there and deletes it off. You know, if it sits there for a while, you haven't really watched their channel for a while or whatever. But if you guys cruise down through here, and I'm not going to point anybody out. People that's been with me for a while know what has happened in my past here on YouTube, and who has attacked me and all that kind of stuff. And I don't attack back. You know, my attack is silence. You know? So, if I cruise down through here, guys, you guys are going to probably see people that you wouldn't think I'd be watching, right? Well, I do. Even after they attack me. Okay? Why? Why do I do that? Just because I don't like them personally does not mean I cannot get some truth out of what they're showing. I may not even agree with their theories, but there is truth there always to be found if you look for it and know how to decipher and get all the background static out of there. It is a hard thing to do sometimes to find the truth, but as soon as we do, we know it. Okay? You know, think about stuff that you think is actually the truth beyond a shadow of a doubt. You're probably not going to get anybody to budge you on any of that, right? And I try to get rid of that in my own mind. I want to have an open mind from the front to the back, all the windows on the side, all those doors are wide open. I'm open to everything to listen. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to keep that window open, because if I don't agree with it, obviously I'm not going to believe it. So, but I'm not going to come out here and hit you on the head with any of it. I'm going to show you the observations. I'm going to do all that kind of stuff. And you guys make up your own mind. You guys are smart. You're a lot smarter than I am. I just got a platform that I'm sharing it on. That's it. Haven't you seen the space heater in space? Man, you're full of them today, man. That's awesome. And I like to tell people this too, and this actually usually starts a little bit of discord or disagreement. The sun's not on fire, guys. Just know that. And I don't want you to say no more. Go research that. You'll figure it out. There is no oxygen, guys. You have to have oxygen for fire. So it's more of a fusion thing going on, just to get kind of basic with it. But there's a lot there. So yeah, I like it too, Nibby Nuts. I really do. I just, you know, I'm a firm believer. I'm doing this for a reason. I still don't know the whole reason. Probably never will. But that's what keeps me going. You guys in that particular mindset. As soon as I lose any of that, I'm done. You know, this is what it is. And again, we have to understand, we're not always going to agree on stuff. But where all of us make mistakes is cancel culture. We cancel each other out if they don't believe exactly how we believe. You know, we can't do that. How are we ever going to get somebody to believe what we're talking about if we cancel them out? Does that make any sense? It doesn't, does it? You know? And, you know, Hilly's in here, and, you know, what does, you know, if we're going to go to like a biblical thing, Jesus went into the house of the sinner. He didn't go into the house of the saints. He was trying to save people, right? And that's the whole thing there, you know? Yeah, Hilly, it is. That's exactly true, guys. You guys know that, right? That's why the Parker SP probe is out there. That's its main mission. The sun's atmosphere, the corona, is hotter than the surface. That's why they tried to get, you know, the Parker SP was, you know, went up and touched the sun. It was getting data for that specific reason. And it's out there now. Now, I've explained that a little bit before, how I think it might be possible. You know, I worked in printing, and we used these UV bulbs to dry the ink. The UV that was coming off of them was 5 more times powerful than the sun, than the sun's rays traveling, hitting Earth. Okay, that's what I mean. Well, we experienced UV from the sun here on the surface. The bulbs I used was 5 times stronger than that. Now, in order to get it to work right, we had reflectors, and we could move the angle of it. The power from that bulb that would cure the ink so fast didn't come from the bulb. It came from the reflector, and we would maneuver it around enough that we had a focal point. So when those light rays, those UV rays were crossing each other, they would meet at one point. And it made it so much more effective. We ran machines at 600 parts a minute, putting 10 different colors of ink on these bowls and lids, and it was dry coming out of the back of the machine. That's how powerful that stuff is. So, and with that being said, we didn't replace the bulbs unless we absolutely needed to. They were like $500 a piece. What we did was we would adjust the reflectors or clean them to increase the life of that bulb. So it makes perfect sense to me that the Corona could be and is hotter than the surface of the sun. That's just what that's my take on it, but I am no way an educated scholar on any of that. But I do know my printing machines, and I know what UV is, and I got a pretty extensive knowledge on that. Went through a few classes. What you guys see when you look at like a printed bowl, it's actually reflective light. What your eye is seeing is the light passing through the ink, bouncing off of the bowl, which is called the substrate, back through the ink into your eye. That's what you see. And I know it sounds kind of odd, and it's just like your TV. You got we had process printing. CMYK is what we called it. I could make every color in the rainbow just by changing the dot size and the pressure. We would use cyan, which is the C, yellow, okay, magenta, and black. With those 4 colors and a good machine that could print some good plates and having stuff set up right, I can make any color you want out of those 4 colors. So that's what I'm trying to say. I have a little bit of knowledge on that and how that works with the UV and all that kind of stuff. So when I say stuff like that, I say it from a place of, CMYK. Cyan, magenta, yellow, and the K stands for black. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get off here. You guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll probably come back on later on tonight. But I wanted to give everybody kind of an update on what was going on with that. Thank you guys for the conversation and being here. I really do appreciate it. Hilly, Becca, any other mod that's in here. I think Knowledge 2020 was in here. Sid, you're in here. And all the subscribers, guys. Thank you guys for being here and supporting and all that kind of stuff. Just being here and hitting the like button. That's all I need. Share my videos if you want. You don't have to. Doesn't really, I don't really push that stuff. Matter of fact, I never even say that. But, back at you, Mary. Thank you. And, it just, well, thanks. Thanks, Surgery. I really appreciate that. Thanks, Ken. Thanks to all you guys. So you guys have a great day, guys. God bless. Yeshua saves, and